Welcome to Zero Hit Points, everybody. It's March 20th. I'm Ryan Miller, host and host. It's Matt Amberg.
Step Brothers is a funny movie. We should talk about that someday.
Is that what that's from?
On a movie podcast.
Should I come up with a new, more video game centric introduction for you this week?
For next week. Let's mull it over. I don't want you to try and come up off the top of your head.
I was gonna say those take me like 30 minutes.
Let's really spitball it. We'll come up with we'll put a graph together.
Good. Turn it into a meeting.
Yeah. Let's
pie chart it.
Let's get a word cloud going.
Which it consists of real pies. Both pie chart and word clouds.
Yes, I am really supportive of this.
Food. Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Approximately a week.
That sounds correct.
Wherein we talked about video games as we do on this podcast, what we've done, how we do it, why, and how fun it is.
Yes.
But first, since I'm careful not to talk to you during the week,
thankfully,
I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, my nightmare life right now. This week has been pretty challenging. I'm not going to get into all the specifics of it here, but there's been some trials and tribulations with my daughter, and she is currently living in another place. And in this time, it's just been a little rough for us. She's had some problems while she's been there. She went to the hospital for kidney infection, and then she went back to the hospital for another thing, and so she's on medication too. And there's a lot of complexity here. This is like the beyond simplified and distilled version of how this is 17 years kind of in the making. And
is that how old she is?
Yeah, she
17,
is. She's been 17 since February. So it's been...
I mean, let's be honest. She's been 17 for like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, gotcha. For sure. No, there's been a lot in our lives. There's been a lot of professional help, a lot of doctors and conversations with schools and stuff. So this is... I guess to say that things kind of finally came to a head, and we have found a middle ground that's working kind of.
Oh, well, that's good.
But it's been emotionally draining, tiring, crippling in some respects, and it has prevented me from spending really any time playing video games this past week. So don't even bother asking me about those things.
Really?
Yeah, no, really, I haven't touched.
Really?
I have.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
We played one game together, I think, and that was last week. It was 2 weeks ago.
You're right. We've already talked about it. It's true.
Now you've really ruined the show, Ryan.
Hey, no. I mean, I think I speak for everybody when I say that sucks.
Shut up about it and let's talk about video games. Yeah, I don't have a whole heck of a lot outside of that.
It's fine. It's not, no pressure. I wish I had something to throw back at you. Like, I tell you what, I'm going to try and create some problems. It doesn't matter in my marriage. I don't.
Oh, cool.
For you,
okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, see? This is what friends do.
No, and I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me and trying to, I like that you want to stay on the same wavelength as me. You don't want to.
I think it's important for the show.
I think it is too. So, candy kids, it was rough. Christmas is going to suck this year for at least 2 of you.
We had a good run.
Be
thankful.
Yeah, look, you do get to look back and see, successes, failures, but
I get to look back and be like, look at all the presents you got from Uncle Beta, which is your name. Haven't we been good to you? No more.
Yeah. It's legal. It's legal. We're gonna get married, you and I.
I'm not even joking either. I'm pretty sure last year you gave them more presents than I did. Because Santa's still real. I didn't give those ones.
Santa is still real. I still get gifts from Santa every year.
Fair enough. This is the first episode my daughter's going to listen to.
Santa is very real to me, and nobody will ever change my mind about that. The magic is there. So suck it.
Fair enough.
Grinches.
Suck it. 0hitpoints.com. Suck it, Grinches. So no games. No,
nothing.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I don't know if this will, again, make up for any deficiencies, but I've got some to throw your way.
Oh, good. Throw them. Chuck them at me.
One of them's Uncharted.
So it just wasn't a game that did well with ratings?
Yeah, it was, yes, actually, on both. It was the first Uncharted game, which didn't chart very well.
Yeah. See, look at that. We are genius. We can do it. We are funny and podcasters. Look, we are like two white guys talking about video games. Very unique.
Bizarrely like that.
Very unique. Totally nothing like it on the internet. So let's do it some more. More Uncharted games. Let's hear it.
Well, I don't even have. I'm not going to go deep into that. I've sat down 3 times to play it now, and we're about 70% through. So one more time sitting down, and then we'll have a big hoo-ha at the ending. Is that one of those? Hold on, somebody knocked at my door. That was the maintenance guy. I do have problems. My upstairs, I woke up, Saturday night, I was going to bed, and there was water on the floor upstairs, and I was like, oh, because my kid just took a bath. So I was like, oh, he's messy, because he's both kid and related. But I put a towel down, and then the next morning I woke up and the towel was soaked. And I was like, oh, not the kid. It was your bathroom when you stayed upstairs, the bathroom closest to your room. So I don't know what you did, but
I blew it up.
No, Uncharted also belongs in the toilet. No, it's not that bad. But we can talk about it when I finish it.
All right, let's talk about it when you finish it.
The other game I played was Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Why? So okay. Now,
I kind of just love saying it.
They just dropped the information on the progression system update.
Yes, that is why.
So is the update? The update's not out yet. It's not out until Wednesday, I think, or Thursday.
Might be today. It's today or tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know.
It's sometime this week. Yeah,
there's no way to
we
tell.
don't play video games.
But yes, that was why I saw that. And it's basically they're rehauling the whole thing. They are not getting rid of loot boxes, but you can't pay money for them anymore, and they're not going to have the star cards in there. So all the pay-to-win aspects of this are getting taken out completely.
Right.
Loot boxes still be there, but you earn them through progression or daily login, stuff like that. But it's not going to come with star cards. Those you will just get points or some kind of tokens for playing online that you can then spend to upgrade whatever you want in whatever direction you want. So it's just more traditional. It's arguably what they should have done in the first place, and arguably what's been done for years and years and years. The strange thing is, so basically I wanted to get back into it because I didn't want to get stuck in the thing that they will never change, which is the XP drip for these games. Any Battlefront, any Battlefield, like it's just always too slow. I hate it. It's dumb. It's probably fine for people who like investing their lives and lots of time in doing multiplayer stuff, which I don't very often. So it's not going to hit with me anyways.
And it doesn't.
But I didn't want to get stuck in that. So I knew I was saving up my credits because you get it from single player and all that to buy the heroes at some point. And I read with this thing that when they do all these changes, you'll be able to keep whatever heroes you've already bought. Otherwise, you just unlock them, as you level up, which is the thing I don't want to do. So I went in. Basically, I was like, okay, I got to clock some time with this thing because I need to earn some credits and buy all my heroes before, all that. And played a single game and had enough credits to buy all the heroes. So ended up not being that bad.
No. It was one game? That's all right. Just a reminder, this is not a good game. Got it.
No. Also, because I had been spending most of my time with, I'm just going down the list in the space fight mode. Gosh, what's that called?
Fighter Squadron?
Sure. Probably. I don't know.
It's whatever.
Again, there's no way to tell.
Star battles in space. Star Wars.
That's it.
Star Wars fighters.
And those are great. Like those are fun. Like the moving parts and everything that we talked about it. But this time I dove into more of kind of the actual troopers, fighting troopers.
Sure.
And all that stuff.
Foot
boots. And that's not tons different from the first game. But is kind of still great for the reasons, and again, forever and ever, you liked it less than I did, but I very much enjoyed the multiplayer offerings of the first Battlefront, and this is that again. So diminishing returns, sure, and this game is just straight up marred by everything else you've heard of and think of when I say the words Battlefront 2. But get in there and it looks as gorgeous as it ever has, and there's some really cool levels, like some of the stuff they do, like there's a level that takes place within the city limits of Naboo. It's actually pretty cool looking. You're defending some gunships. It's stuff that isn't necessarily even fleshed out in the movies anywhere.
Sure.
But it's done pretty well here.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It's too bad the game came out the way it did.
I thought you were going to stop after.
I'm giving you the option to edit that.
Okay. But whatever, got in there, got my stuff. Actually didn't feel like I was getting steamrolled by the people who had all their cards upgraded, which is kind of still an indictment of that system, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's all an illusion.
What else did you play? Something else? Please tell me.
Yes,
Good.
FTL.
Ah, right.
Yeah, a much better game for sure. But
in so many better first-person shooter.
Yeah, strangely enough, features none of that at all, but
and still remarkably
very competent in comparison. No, actually, I had a rough week with that thing, and we've talked about it at least 2 times now, both in terms of Into the Breach because it's made by the same people, and not. The discussion that probably bears the most importance here is when we got into kind of roguelikes, because that's always a dicey proposition when it comes to me, and I think I'm bumping up against that a lot the deeper I get into FTL.
Yeah.
I hit a rough patch in that I just kept dying quick. Like I couldn't. When we talked last, I actually got to the end boss, and I was like we were talking strategies for the end boss, and I was thinking how we could figure it out. But I got to it one more time after you were like, well, maybe try and go. Because the last map will pop up little repair stations.
Yeah.
And you were like, maybe try to go to those in between the 3 stages of the boss battle. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. What happens though is that map slowly gets taken over by the rebel forces, and they get super hard. They become super hard confrontations. So if I don't make it to certain tiles in time, the whole map is just a bunch of super hard confrontations with that big boss battle in the middle of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I get to the boss battle. I try to get him. I do get him, and then I'm like, okay, so for the second stage, I'll go to that repair station, which is 2 jumps away. I go 1 jump, and the repair station turns into one of those super hard rebel fleets. Yeah. So I'm like, dang it! Like I can't repair. I just wasted another battle. Which gave me some damage. And now I have to go back to the main ship still without any healing. So I've lost that one. Handily.
Yeah, no, this sounds exactly like what I've heard from that game, whereas every time you think you understand it, it just finds a way to kick you directly in the crotch.
Right. Well, especially because after that, I couldn't get back to the boss for like a ton of games.
Because the game goes, you've had too much success. No more.
It felt like it. Like I kept... one of the last ones I lost, I felt maybe I was hoarding a little too much, because you kind of want to save... the back and forth is you want to save some of your money as you go. Like you only want to spend it when you really need it, or when you really need to upgrade, so you can save it for the final and kind of get a better idea which direction you want to spec or something like that. And I think maybe I might have been hoarding a little too much, which I tend to do in games anyways. So whatever. Like I'm the guy that'll play, an RPG, and by the end of the RPG, I have full everything because I'm afraid to use it for the whole game because I might need it.
No, I know that's that. I run into that same thing where like I will, and I remember Bloodborne was this where I found things and I was like, why do I have this? I don't know. Don't look at it. Don't touch it again. It just needs to sit in my inventory until something very explicitly says the only way to do this is to use that. And it wasn't until like I got so pissed because I just was having such a hard time getting the game in the first place, because it was the first game I'd played like that.
Right.
That I remember finally breaking down and going, okay, I need to understand this. So I looked up like some how to do specific things, like how they worked. And then I remember finding there was like a link to, and here's what you do with the music box. And I went, oh, like follow that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Which I'm verging on, honestly. That's almost where I'm at. Because even though I did finally get to the last boss and beat him, which unlocked a new ship that looks like a Wang, which comes with like a super missile on it.
Well, that makes sense.
Strangely enough, yeah. But I wasn't able to get another win out of that ship, even with the weapon. So basically, I'm still not sure that I'm not wasting a bunch of time, for some runs. Like it's not doing an incredibly great job of making me feel like I learned something from failure. Sometimes it's kind of like at the end, I'm like, well, what was that all about? Thanks. Like what was I supposed to have learned from that? Like, and I don't get anything. That's could very well be my fault, obviously. But it's happened enough times that it's, like it actually turned me off like for a bit.
Yeah.
Now I'm coming back to it in kind of a different way. I'm thinking maybe I concentrate entire runs on unlocking certain challenges or something like that, because that'll unlock some things too. So
sure,
we'll try that. See how it goes. I'm it's a good pick up and play, even though each run can take as long as an hour. So it's not even really that, but it's
it's a good pick up play. Sit down, frustrate, get really aggravated over.
Continue to sit down.
Kind of decide to
again.
Maybe throw this iPad across the room. Why are you doing this to me? No, it's one of those.
It is. It's totally one of those games. Actually, no, you got it.
Yeah, I get it. That's cool.
You've been playing a lot of Into the Breach.
I like that game. It's rough. I will tell you, I haven't touched it, but I did download it. It is installed. I downloaded Hearthstone because I wanted something that I could just kind of go bop and play. And
I tell you, man, bot games are where it's at.
Yeah, and
nowadays.
that game, I don't know that it really is, especially when I remember. Oh man, there have been so many things that have changed. That I know you got to recreate decks and stuff, and so that'll be a whole thing. But
so I'm just waiting till it stops changing, and then I'll get into it.
Yeah, like 10 years down the road when they've killed the game and nobody's playing it, you're like, I'll play the tutorials just so I can say I played the game. It's Gwent all over again.
That's true. I got to look back into that. You're right.
Every time I can't, and I always do. I always click on. I sit down to look at it, and I go, oh yeah, Gwent, and then something. It's like a shiny thing in the room goes, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I better walk away from it.
It's called everything else that prevents us from playing games lately. That's what happens.
Yeah, also that.
FTL though, it's great. It's coming at a time, especially speaking of the different ways in which we play games lately, where I'm getting different things out of games. And also, remember our conversation with PUBG, where we kind of talked about how it's kind of forcing me to deal with loss in a way, and that I cannot win. In a way,
right? Chasing the win state. It's that constant chase. Is like you can still do it with PUBG, but it's not the same thing as chasing it with, because you're at
and that can't be everything, or you're
right, because you are at the whim of so many different variables that are not single player things that you can handle.
So FTL is doing the same thing basically. I'm kind of like, I can't min max everything on this thing.
Right.
Like, maybe that's part of why I don't feel like I'm learning, because there's enough dynamism to it that I have to just manage everything at once and depend on the RNG to some extent, which I don't know if that's a lot of games. So maybe that's just where I'm at with this. Like I said, I don't know.
That's fair.
We'll find out maybe a little bit more next week. I don't know how much more we'll talk about it, but
all right.
It's a good game.
Yeah. Sounds good.
That's all I got.
Let's jump forward and let's discuss the world of video games at large.
Which is going to come by way of another update, kind of, because we've done at least 2 shows now wherein we've talked a little bit about this convergence of politics and violence in video games.
Get them out of my games! I don't want you! You're awful in every respect, government!
So there's plenty of that to go around, but there was an update of sorts this week wherein Trump finally had that meeting with the people who didn't know he was going to have a meeting with them in the video games industry.
Some of the most useless people possible involved in that. There was
in the most useless way possible. The video's out there. They brought a video with them that was like, look at this montage of violence in video games, which is just I don't want to use the term baby boomer in a pejorative sense. My dad is one of those, and I love him very much.
It's pejorative.
Actually, so is my mom, actually, if you think about it.
I don't.
We try not to. But it's just the most baby boomer mentality with this video and this.
No, it's the Tipper Gore thing. It goes back to that garbage of we're going to put a parental guidance sticker on this so mom knows that the F word is being said.
And that's kind of what we've talked about so many times already. This is going to be a positive here because this could have gone so many different ways. After they showed this video, we could have in turn shown them videos of all the violent movies they watch, or maybe a montage of all the violent wars they've started over the past.
What about
years.
Looney Tunes? Man, that is so incredibly violent.
You're right. We could have dude. We should have just taken some of the stuff they've shown to us over the years. Yeah, Looney Tunes, because they've come around on Looney Tunes by now. We should just show that back to them and be like, look at the stuff you're okay with in
You're
these
good
cartoons.
with me playing with dynamite. And the video also hilariously pointed out humorously by Polygon that the entire video is like is all military shooters that are all like realistic military stuff with a couple of survival horror things thrown in to be like, oh, and also don't forget, we also have scary things. Meh.
From the freaking military, you're right. Like, who has made war games.
Yeah, exactly. You could not have screwed that up any further. Like,
Isn't this you guys? Maybe this was just a pitch video. They just showed them a super cut of the video games that were coming out of the government.
Yeah, no, maybe that's it. Maybe this government's like, you know what? We need more games like this.
Huh. But in our the positive thing being in our response, I say because I want to own this as a member of the video game community, as the other here.
Yeah,
but Games for Change put together a supercut of positive moments in games, and it's actually really good, really well done.
It's a great video. Yeah, it's like a minute and 20 seconds or so, and it totally shows these beautiful landscapes and curiosity and interaction as opposed to interactions with axes.
Sure, yes.
Interactions.
With a healthy dose of fun, too, I think. Like, there's some Fortnite in there, which you wouldn't necessarily call, like, most of these games are kind of for their emotional impact. Sure. But there's still also some in there that are like, hey, also games are fun.
And this is, we all know this is all scapegoat garbage, and
right.
It's nonsense. It's an easy thing for somebody in the current or any administration that bothers with this garbage to say, look, we're investigating and doing something. But again, it comes back down to,
well, except in this case, Trump freaking believes it. I mean, because he believes his own.
He's a dinger, man.
Yeah. Okay.
The guy
that's not worth even.
No, it's not. But beyond his idiocy, any time we've run into this, there have always been the studies that they like to show and bring up and say, here we've got this correlation, are then always debunked by like actual scientists, by actual psychologists, by actual people, and nothing comes of this. It's an easy way to bring ire up for something totally innocuous that has nothing to do with the actual situation, which is, in this case, gun violence. That's it.
So let's speaking of Fortnite.
Yes, speaking of Fortnite. Are we talking about Fortnite? We are, okay.
Well, okay. This is where we're at with Fortnite. Are we going to talk about Fortnite? Because everybody's talking about Fortnite. You and me, to a degree, like Fortnite. But what do we say? What can anybody say about this thing? Like, we can't just go every week and being like, man, did you see this with the Fortnite again?
Said it last week. That the game is and I mean multiple weeks, but last week I think we really kind of we probably drove the point home that the game is a phenomenon like anything else that's out right now. I mean, it really has blown everything away and is
still blowing.
In every respect, because the devs are not only,
I forgot to stay away.
They've not only got crossplay going for every system in some respect. They've added a mobile version of the game that, for all intents and purposes, is actually good and viable.
It's good and viable, but there's some pretty good clips out there have you seen them where they run into
they
ran into some mobile players today, and I feel bad for the mobile player because he's like standing still and the dude like walks in front of him and then hops to the side, and the mobile player's like not even a split second, like a full second behind each hop, like he's shooting where the guy was.
Yeah.
Till finally he nicks the guy, and the guy's like, I better kill him, and then just one shot. I'm like, oh.
So I mean, but it's there. It's viable.
It's there. And yes, I bet if you get a controller on that thing, you're probably competing just fine.
You might, yeah. But and then on top of all of that, this week, Ninja, who huge Fortnite streamer, started back with Halo. Became a Fortnite guy, became the biggest Fortnite streamer, and is, I think, currently the highest, the most everything streamer on Twitch. He was playing.
I mean, yeah, he set a record with this Drake stream specifically.
And not only Drake, but later on in the stream, Travis Scott jumped on. He's another musician. And then Juju Smith-Schuster jumped on, and he's a football player for the Steelers.
Oh.
And he has been one of those guys that since the game kind of launched, he's been on it. Like, he's been into it, and he's been tweeting about it, and he very clearly got dudes into the game from the football perspective for sure. But yeah, I mean, and then on top of all this, Ninja then gets this this amazing interview with like CNN or something.
Yeah.
And they asked him about the game and they talked to him about it and the fact that he's making between $250,000 and $500,000
I saw
a month.
$500,000 a month.
All I know is that I did everything wrong in my life. Everything. Every step of the way, I made a wrong decision. Well,
dude.
And I you know what? I guess
0HITPOINTS.com. What am I going to tell?
Yeah, I guess I deserve it because son of a...
What was that? I got to change the tagline now after the show on the site. I've done everything wrong in my life. Is that it?
Yeah, I've done everything wrong in my life.
I'll tell you what though, and I don't tune into streamers a whole bunch. I'll be honest. It's not. I just don't have the time. I'm sure I'd love to. When it comes down to watching a game or playing a game, I hope to play a game someday is what it comes down to.
It does sound fun.
But I did watch some of this, and I got to say, like 2 minutes in, Ninja might be one of my favorite streamers of all time. He doesn't appear to be doing a character. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like Dr. Disrespect is fun. He isn't using a weird voice or affecting himself in any way. He seems like a cool dude that plays some video games. Also, it was just fun to see him just order Drake and Juju around. They knew who was calling the shots in that game.
Oh yeah,
he was like, Drake, what are you doing back there? What are you doing back there? Oh, I was picking up a shield. I found a shield. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's right.
Yeah, he like those guys were all there for the W, man. They were just like, whatever Ninja says, just do it.
Which smartly enough, because also that dude is freaking amazing.
Well, he goes through regularly and does solo games against squads. So it's him versus every other team of 4. And he wins.
He's an animal, dude. Like stuff that he's walking down the field and he'll look left for a second and headshot some guy and keep going. Like stuff that I'm jumping out of my seat like, what the heck was that? Right. And he's just like talking about pizza already again or something.
No, he and on top of that, like the dude is for the most part a pretty positive guy, and that's something that gets brought up in that interview that he
not a single racial slur yet, from what I can tell.
I don't think so. No, he's not a PG streamer for sure. He's not a PG-13. He's definitely like he will go off in some directions, but nothing like that. I mean, he doesn't. I have not either heard nor heard of him dropping any weird racial epithets.
He doesn't have racism secretly built into the very thread of his being.
It doesn't seem to be. Okay. Right. Or he's real good at hiding it. But he's also, he promotes like on stream, he talked about how you want to get where I'm getting. Well, you want to do what I'm doing. Well, you need to listen to your parents and you need to do your homework and you need to do this. And this is why. And the reason these things worked out is because I did these things. And I built I was able to build this kind of life for myself by learning these things. And so he is, for the most part, seems like a really good dude. And,
into it.
I know that the Epic folks love having him be an ambassador for the game. So, good for them.
Good for everybody.
Now let's just do the capper.
Consider it done.
All right.
Oh no, wait, we have to actually. So E3 is coming up. Right?
I've heard.
You may have heard of it.
Yeah.
Every year there seems to be a new thing. I know 10 years ago, I feel like we were already seeing stuff that was like, is E3 dead?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
But it's been, if anything, a slow death then, because the latest news kind of to come out of this is that Microsoft has pulled out in, I guess, kind of a big way. Because if you think about E3, it's those press conferences, like the big 3, or even just the big 2, I guess, who's the publishers have started doing their own things now that have kind of started to headline in certain ways. But it used to be like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, right? Nintendo's been a long time out of that game. They have their treehouse going on somewhere in E3, but for the most part, they do their directs now, and they don't even do those during E3 time.
They do it like they do it like right. They do it like right before, I think. And they have
them throughout the year. I mean, like there's not even just one direct that they do every year or anything, and it's worked out for them. Like.
Well, they're Nintendo. You can't.
Also,
Nintendo's like you don't even need to bring them because they're just so weird. And they're
right.
Hello, we're Nintendo. Yeah. Let's play games our way. That's Nintendo. Like
they're the Burger King of video game companies. Like,
they are.
Some of their products are actually cardboard. So what can you say? It holds up. But Microsoft pulling out, I feel like, is even, and this comes after EA did their thing where they kind of consolidated all their stuff into the fan event.
EA Play.
And that's kind of been the direction that E3 is taking. And if you go way back with 0 hit points. We did talk about this at some point where I used to go to Macworld back in the day. It was a big thing in San Francisco, sometimes exactly where E3 was held. But what happened with Macworld is that Mac left. Apple stopped showing up for those things, and Macworld had to decide how to remain viable because people make money off that stuff. It's lots of vendors show up to it. You know, the people who put it on are making money off of that, and the vendors who go are making money off of the people who attend. So basically what happened is they turned it into a fan event. I think it's called iWorld now or something like that. But Apple's still not there. They basically have focused in on the fans.
Enthusiasts.
Yes, the enthusiasts. There you go. So E3 has kind of been on that trajectory, it seems, with EA leaving, Activision left, I feel like maybe even before that, even though they haven't really sprung anything else up in that stead. Activision's Activision. Like, they have Call of Duty. They don't care. They like everybody's going to pick up the Call of Duty news no matter what.
Yeah, and those guys always show up for somebody else, like for Sony. They're like, because they're always like, because they're always also at somebody's thing. They don't ever do their own.
So yeah, there's basically E3 has been on this path. They opened themselves up to the public, I think just last year, right? That
was, I think, the first time, yeah, because I mean, traditionally this has been, it's been meant for industry people.
Yeah. And they flirted with bringing in the public, I think, on some occasions, but never to the extent where it seems like that's the direction they're heading, whereas that's kind of it now. And I haven't seen the numbers from the whole public attendance last year. I don't know if that thing took off like crazy or what. I mean, they're doing it again this year, so
I'm sure that the tickets sold out. I know that everybody that was out at various events last year certainly had difficulty getting into places because it was so packed.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I guess the question is, with Microsoft doing this thing, they pulled back. They're kind of combining it with Xbox Fan Fest. They're holding it actually where we saw the Game Awards at the Microsoft Theater in LA,
which makes perfect sense. Across the street from Staples Center.
Yeah. But I guess this just begs the question of, and maybe we've already answered it, where E3 is going, and if this really changes anything, I guess.
So according to Polygon, a few other places, this is going to be the biggest footprint Microsoft has had at an E3 event in forever, and which, you know, are they going to be at E3 at all, or are they doing everything off site? So
yes, they will have a Mixer booth on the floor, is what it looks like, which I think again is telling, because Mixer is something very much maybe not enthusiast based, but it's pointed directly at the gamer and not necessarily the press, you know, or as E3 typically has been or whatever. So yeah, they'll be there, but it's just going to be a Mixer booth.
Yeah. You know, I guess it does come down to who's going to be left to do their presentations. You know, or are you still going to have those big presentations take place at E3, or
they say yes. Are they? No, well, not at E3. No, they've said their press conference is coming to the theater.
No. I understand that. I'm talking about others. Like, are others going to do theirs at E3? Is Ubisoft going to be at E3 doing their thing? Or are they doing, you know, like, because what it does sound like is once Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have kind of stepped away. Why? I mean, unless Ubisoft really wants to kind of own it, or Bethesda really wants to own that floor.
Do the publishers take over completely?
Yeah. What happens? I mean, and maybe that does happen. Maybe Bethesda or maybe even, like, you know, you have Take-Two comes out and just buys up a whole section and says, here's our Bethesda stuff, here's our Rockstar stuff, go to town. I don't know, man.
Well, that's just it. It's slowly morphing into a complete fan event.
And I don't think that succeeds. I think that dies sooner than later.
That's the thing. Like, we're asking if this can become a PAX California South, basically.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that it's unless they find a way to do what E3 was doing, where it was, you know, like kind of one space, it just seems like it's a disparate thing. You know, I mean, they're it's all happening
PAX
at once.
It's pretty spread out now. I mean,
but it's all located in one spot, really. I mean, you have the one main convention center, you have the Skybridge to the other spot, and then you have the theaters. But all the theaters are within walking distance. I don't know if is that the case here, or is Microsoft Theater?
I mean, like I said, I don't know because it's never been specifically, but yeah, I mean, the rules of the convention, like I would imagine that would be a priority of theirs, is to, not be too spread out as far as that goes.
I mean, you'd think so, but it sounds like, these guys all want to do their own thing. So
yeah.
It's
weird either way.
I see it being harder for E3 to exist as a singular entity if the publishers and the developers are doing their own big presentation things.
Oh, for sure,
and events, because I've got a fan event. Why would I care about necessarily showing other developers and industry, media, when I could just go get the feedback directly from the people I want to hear it from?
Right.
It's easier that way.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's absolutely the question. Like, does E3? Because I think E3, like a PAX California South could survive. Like, especially one based in LA. Like, I feel like that could work. But you're right. Is E3 that's kind of has this history of being something entirely different, and as companies pull out and do things on their own, like you're basically asking if they would be able to come together again, and if that would be worth it. From a fan or. I think from a news perspective, it's not, like, already, like that's not viable anymore, right? Like they're not getting. They probably are getting some of the big headlines to a certain extent, but it's not how it used to be, and probably not as valuable or as useful for controlling the message, especially than doing it all themselves. You're right, like having their own events.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be interesting. See what happens. Maybe that's the answer.
I think that's the answer, and I think that brings us to the end of the show, and that's the capper. Games coming out this week. There are so many games coming out this week.
And last week, technically, I didn't even pick up Burnout Remastered for the normal reasons.
Yeah, no. Burnout, we got to get that. Sea of Thieves, I've already got that downloaded and ready to go.
That's out today?
It's out today. I will be trying to get some of that in this week. Beth is pretty stoked about playing it.
Let me know. I'll Xbox Game Pass, I think I decided.
Oh, weird. Yeah, we have it.
I'm in on that.
It's bought. It's installed.
No, I know, but let me know when the minutes you're going to play, and then I will begin the process of doing video game related.
Got it. Hey, we're gonna play this. Okay, I'll install it 20 hours later.
You're right. Okay, that didn't work out. Okay, I'll just fine. I will get Burnout Paradise too. Like I know, like I want to hit while the iron's hot on that thing, because I think online's a big component of it. So I'm going to play so many games. You'll see.
I can't wait to be shown. And also on Friday, March 23rd, A Way Out comes out. Really, really interested in that game, man.
We're in for that, right?
Especially after he went nuts on at the Game Awards. Real fun. What are we doing on next week's show? What are we thinking we're going to talk about?
Well, all goes to plan. We'll probably hear about each one of those games, some Burnout, some Sea of Thieves, and A Way Out. Did you want to do any cross-platform play for Fortnite with Xbox and PC is live, from what I understand, with the latest update?
Yeah, we should give it a shot. See if it works.
Okay,
we'll give it a shot. We'll report back. And
Fortnite's pretty big,
and we might stream it. Who knows?
Sounds good. But that's pretty much it for us and the show, and for Zero Hit Points. You can find us at zerohitpoints.com. You can tune back in on Thursday for Book Club for Movies, where we do Gross Point Blank.
It's a good one. John Cusack.
It's going to be a great one.
A lot of fun.
Actually, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by, Hit Pointers.